To my YouTube channel, Neri the Coder. Today in this lecture we're going to be talking about declarative versus imperative paradigms. What are these two paradigms? What the paradigm React follows or it uses and why? So yeah, let's just talk about it. So basically the success of React comes down to four key things, and these are the concepts that we're going to be talking about over the next few videos. But in this one, let's just talk about the first one and the first thing that React says. So we have two kind of paradigms. The first one is imperative paradigm. The second one is declarative paradigm. And this is the one that React takes care of and says, hey, don't touch it. I'll take care of the DOM thing for you. And you see that in many existing frameworks and libraries before React, where we directly manipulate the DOM on every page. First, let's see what is DOM actually. If you remember, DOM is our document object model. It is what the browser uses to display a website or a web page, and JavaScript is simply manipulating this DOM. For example, if I right click over here and inspect the page, you see this DOM tree, and hovering over one just shows me which elements I'm pointing on. For example, I'll just go deeper into this one and let's see which elements does it takes me to. Oh, it's a deeper tree. So yeah, let's see here. You can see that on hovering of each of these elements points me to which elements are these. And once I click, for example, on any of these, you'll see a little small flash over here. For example, when I click this one, you see a small flash over here, which adds a class to this element, and it adds an active class to this one. If I try to click outside of this element, you see the class is gone. So this is the kind of manipulation that JavaScript does. This is just a very small example, and practical example. You'll see the whole DOM tree is manipulated, and how we can manipulate it using the styles or based on some events we are showing and removing some data. Yeah, so this is how it works. We start all with from the HTML tag all the way down to the body through each individual elements, and websites were built using things like this. All these ways that browsers allowed us to manipulate the DOM. They gave us the DOM API, which we could access using something like inner HTML or something like that. So we have a document API that we can use over here. And for example, with some Git functions like get element by ID, by class name and tag name, we can have access to these elements, all of these elements, and we can manipulate them. And for example, if I want to change the inner HTML of this page, or just access a single element by ID or class name, or just the dev name, the element name, node name, then I can access it with that. This is basically the browser native API that gives access to me to all of the elements. This allowed us to traverse a DOM access, and any node we wanted to maybe remove them or add new one. And before React, this is what libraries did. You either did this manually, or you used libraries like jQuery, or you used some sort of a library that allows us to use this in a simple fashion, like Backbone.js and something like that. This way of programming was called imperative programming. That is, in an imperative paradigm, you directly change individual parts of your app. Each individual part of your app is changed. So this sounds really intuitive, but the problem with this imperative approach is that it becomes difficult to see relationships between events and all these edge cases. Well, instead of this imperative approach, React came up with a novel concept, a more declarative approach, and this is what React is to you. So basically, DOM manipulation is one of the biggest performance bottlenecks. It takes a long time for DOM changes to happen. The browsers has to do two really intensive operations. So one is basically repainting the whole page. This is the change basically an element and added onto a page, and then reflow, which is the recalculate the layout of the page and move things around if need to be. So changing the DOM was a really expensive operation. So React says, hey, yeah, you know what? Let me take care of that, and I'll find the best way for me to change the DOM and just declare to me what your app looks like. So basically React works with states. So all we need to do is say that, hey, this is the JavaScript object of how I want the app to look, and react to this. And React is going to hold this JavaScript object, this massive object blueprint of how things should look. It's basically just a simple example of what a user object should look like, and then how, based on this state of the application, how we want to show the application, how we want to manipulate it. So React will take care of that, but React's gonna hold this state for you, and then they will show you what you want. Based on this blueprint that we give it, React just says, hey, just tell me what the page should look like, and I'll take care of it. I'll do everything for you. I'll find the best way to use the DOM. You're never going to touch DOM. You'll just tell me what the page should look like. This declarative paradigm is called that because that, hey, this is what the state of data of our app should be like. And based on this state, then just make those changes. And so if a user is logged in, for example, then React already knows exactly what to update and what to do. Now, this idea of declarative style meant that we didn't have to directly say to do this, and if this happens, then do that, where we just say one by one exactly what should happen. That is the thing that React takes care of by itself. So we don't have to tell React all the time what to do next and what to do after what happens after one event. Instead, we just tell, okay, this is the state of our app. React automatically just do the calculations, and it takes care of everything for a look. And this resulted in less complexity, better code quality, and faster development time. So it created this whole idea of, hey, can you build web interface without touching the DOM? And this is where the name React came from. The React is simply saying, hey, based on whatever the state or data of the app is that describes this app, I'm just going to react to it and change everything for you so that you get the display what you want. So I hope you have learned something so far from this video, and I'll see you in the next video and we'll talk about the next principles that made React so popular.